Ghaffar Khan was born to a humble farmer, Bacha Khan, chief of a small tribe. Against the then prevailing trend, he chose to educate his children in schools run by the British. Ghaffar Khan grew up with a loving, broad-minded family who treated all guests with equal respect. In those days, there was no custom to note down birthdays, so the exact date of birth of Abdul Ghaffar Khan is not known. But history records that he was born to the Khan Bahram Khan of Utmanzai village in 1890. This village is in Charsadda Tehsil of Peshawar district, Pakistan. It was at a missionary school that he saw his teacher performing service to the needy. Abdul Ghaffar Khan was tremendously influenced by the spirit of selflessness, a virtue he would master in abundance later. In those days, it was considered extremely prestigious to join the British Indian Army. A young, well-built Pathan standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, almost immaculate, he was selected to join the frontier guides. But when he saw British officers insult his friend, who was a cavalry officer in the Peshawar regiment, Ghaffar Khan quit. He could never stand for injustice. Ghaffar Khan had a vision. He realized that education and learning would be the first step to remove Pathans from this misery. He knew that this violence is directly linked to illiteracy. He dared to open schools to give basic education to children. Did he have any idea how much trouble lay ahead? He must have. For he was scarred for life. The British felt threatened. He was sent to jail, made to walk in blazing heat with no water or food, chained to a vehicle, kept in jail with no food, in extreme cold with a torn, flea-ridden rag for cover. But all this only made Ghaffar Khan even more determined. In the tradition of those days, only the boys were sent to school. Ghaffar Khan realized that education should not be only for the boys. He encouraged girls to be educated too. He educated his daughters and sent them abroad for higher education. He was a champion of women's rights and wanted them to come out of the parda.
I wanted to go to the Amazon because I had done biology. He sent a postcard from the jail and said she will go to England or she won't go at all. And I said, you're going to send me to England? I said, to do biology? I said, first of all, you think I'm going to the British? I said, after what they've done to us, you think I'm going to go to England? I don't want to hear about England. He said, then you can stay at home. So you stay in Peshawar.
In 1924, Ghaffar Khan started thinking about a national newspaper. Finally, in May 1928, his dream was realized, and the first issue of Pakhtun was published. It became very popular. Ghaffar Khan was mesmerized by the nationalistic passion that was driving Indians then. He came back and spoke to his countrymen. Thus, the idea about an organization to bring about social reforms was conceived and realized in 1929. They called it Khudai Khidmatgars, the servants of God. Khudai Khidmatgars had to take a vow before joining, a vow of non-violence, to renounce revenge and anger towards oppressors and wrongdoers, to treat every Pathan as his brother and friend, and to serve humanity in the name of God. This was no less than a revolution in the making. The more the British would torture, the more would join in. The British drove trucks into a human war, killing several people. They ordered soldiers to shoot at unarmed men and women. They rounded up Khudai Khidmatgars, removed their clothes, and beat them mercilessly. He would simply say, "Have we forgotten the teachings of Islam? The teaching of Islam asks us to side with the weaker party." Ghaffar Khan now gave a call for true democracy and justice. For this, he paid dearly. Imprisoned and ill-treated, Ghaffar Khan suffered great humiliation. He withstood all, never giving up his belief in non-violence and love. Subsequently, when Ghaffar Khan was very dangerously ill in prison, he was released. His doctors advised him to go to London. But the weather was not agreeable. Ghaffar Khan decided to go to Afghanistan. He reached Kabul and spent his days there and in Jalalabad. He did come to India after 22 years for Gandhiji's centenary celebrations on 2nd October 1969. And then, in 1987, he was bestowed the highest honor of Bharat Ratna. However, tragically, he had a heart attack and went into a coma. Ghaffar Khan never recovered after that. He was taken to Jalalabad, where he breathed his last on 20th January 1988. When he died, a sea of people poured into Jalalabad. Rajiv Gandhi, the then Prime Minister of India, postponed his other plans and rushed to Afghanistan to offer his respects. This great legend held no post, and yet he forced one of the world's most powerful nations, Russia, to call a ceasefire. Highest officials of countries and governments paid homage. Even in his death, he remained the Badshah, the King of Kings. Another important difference between Ghaffar Khan and the Taliban was that non-Muslims were equally important to him. Ghaffar Khan always said that he and his Pathans would protect Hindus, Sikhs and Christians living in northwest frontier province where Muslims were in majority. He always cited the influence of two non-Muslims on him. One was a white Christian schoolmaster called Vikram, and another was a Hindu called Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Perhaps the most significant differences between Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan's movement and the Taliban was that Bacha Khan wanted Pashtun women to study, work and lead the society. In 1932, he sent his teenage daughter, Meher Taj, to study in England. We also know from his recounts that Bacha Khan was enthusiastic about the Buddhist heritage of that region. He respected all religions and the Buddhist history in that area. The subsequent destruction of the Banyan statues would have surely broken his heart. Last, but certainly not the least, the Taliban cadres had an attitude of me first and displayed double standards at all levels, whereas Bacha Khan had asked his Khudai Khidmatgars to serve the society and practice what they preached. Perhaps it seems unfair to compare the two. Taliban, which raised the gun for the sake of their interpretation of Islam and never hesitated from mindless killings, and Khudai Khidmatgars of Bacha Khan, who took an oath of non-violence, respected other religions, and were committed to the development of their people. The life of Abdul Ghaffar Khan is an inspiring saga. Mahatma Gandhi described him as a man of God. One of the greatest leaders of Asia, he was the closest colleague of Gandhi and a passionate freedom fighter, a non-violent Badshah of Khans. Bacha Khan's life has the capacity to speak meaningfully to an inhabitant of our times, to one who is young, or Muslim, or both, or neither.